Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the ECC TV. Today's lecture will be from the book, from the ECC Fast Track Intermediate. Please open to page 1, unit 1. Jobs and careers. You will discuss on the following points in the English club. Normally we have 1 day for lecture, the second day for activities, the third day for lectures, which in this case will be online, the fourth day for activities, the fifth day for lectures, and the sixth day for activities. So during your English club, you will discuss on the following. Okay, class discussion. Are you employed or unemployed? Do you have a job at this moment? Okay, so are you employed or unemployed? Ladies and gentlemen, it's always better to say that you are unemployed than saying that you are jobless. Okay, it's a little bit negative to say that you're jobless, as if you're lazy, and you're not lazy. So are you employed or unemployed? The next one, do you like your job? Why or why not? Because some people do they work not because they like it, but simply because they have no other option. Okay, the next, is your job your dream job? Your job, is it your dream job, or you prefer to have another job? Would you like to work outside your country? Why or why not? Some people prefer to work outside their country. Would you like to work outside your country, or you prefer to work in your country? How much is the minimum wage in your country? Minimum wage is the least fixed salary by the government. The government fixes a certain amount that no worker in the country should be paid less than that. So it's called the minimum wage. So in your country, what is the minimum wage? Okay, the next question. How do you feel when you receive your monthly pay package? So when you get your salary, how do you feel? Okay, so when you receive your salary, what are your spending priorities? What are your priorities when you get your salary? Okay, for example, you want to buy a new refrigerator, you want to buy a television, you want to buy a car, for example, you want to buy clothes, you want to, for example, pay for your brother's school fees. So, what are your priorities? Do you think that people on a higher salary are always happier? For example, your salary is 15,000 Sudanese pounds and your manager's salary is 150,000 Sudanese pounds. Do you think your manager is happier, or you feel you are happier than he is? So let's know what you have in mind. Okay, is your salary always enough to cater for the whole month? When you get your salary, is it enough to cover all your expenses for the month, or you feel that you require more money? Okay, the last question. Do you think that it is a good idea to buy foodstuff on credit from the shop in your neighborhood? In certain neighborhoods, there are shops that, for example, you can buy and pay later. So you buy on credit. Maybe you've not been paid a salary, so the seller can have, for example, a notebook whereby you have a page, and whatever you take from the store, he will record it. At the end of the month, on receiving your salary, you go to pay for the items which you bought on credit. So do you think it's a good idea buying on credit from the shop in your neighborhood? Or it's better to wait until you have your salary, then you go to buy the items or the needed items cash. What do you think? Okay, this you'll discuss in the English club. And also look below, ladies and gentlemen, there are two pictures. We have picture A and picture B. Compare and contrast. So compare the two pictures, and contrast. Find the similarities and differences between pictures A and B. In what ways, are pictures A and B similar? And in what ways are pictures A and B different? So you discuss. This will also be done in the English club. So which of the two jobs would you like? Look at the two jobs in picture A and picture B. Which would you like? Why and why not? Look at the next question. Which of the two jobs do you think is more financially rewarding? Which of the two pictures do you think, for example, attracts much more income, financially rewarding, attracts much more income? Which do you think? You will discuss that also in the club. We go over to the next page, page 2. Jobs and careers. Class activity. In turn, tell your classmates your top priorities while searching for a job, selecting from the list below. So, you have your priorities. What are they? Your top priorities. Yes, all are your priorities. But then, what are the top priorities, the most important? So you arrange it in or you can say in a descending order. For example, start with the first, then the next, then the third, So in a descending order, So we have the first one, a fat salary. The next, power and status. The next, working in an international setting. The next, being the boss. The next, cooperative colleagues. The next, friendly employers. Then the next, enjoying your work. Then the last, working near home, as well as having a company car. So which are your top priorities? So you discuss this in the club, We go over to the next page, page 3. Jobs and careers. Reading. Read the passage below and answer the questions that follow. My profession, my career, my profession. I may be a doctor, medical doctor, an engineer, a lawyer. So, profession, my profession. I am a barrister at law, and I sometimes work as a solicitor. Again, I am a barrister at law. It means that this gentleman is a lawyer who represents his clients in the court. A barrister is a lawyer who goes to the court to represent his client. While a solicitor is a lawyer who stays in his chambers or in his office to give legal advice to his clients. So my profession is very interesting as I have to represent my clients in the court. I have to represent my clients in the court. So it's interesting. I find it interesting. Practicing law could be quite hectic, and tedious. Hectic, full of activities. Tedious, long and maybe boring or tiresome, for example, or monotonous. Tedious, something which you do over and over again. It's monotonous. Monotonous. Tedious. And also maybe tiresome. something tiresome. Because, for example, if you keep on repeating the same thing, it becomes, tiresome. So, practicing law could be quite hectic, full of activities, at the same time tedious, monotonous, or tiresome. As I always have to read my law reports, law reports. So, for example, a law report is like a magazine, containing certain cases already decided by the higher courts of justice. So you can now go through and check those cases and, for example, read and understand the cases and try to know, for example, why the judge decided in favor of a particular party. Why? And for example, all will be documented in a single report, in a single magazine. So that is called law report. You can find so many cases, decided cases by the higher courts of justice, so that you can read and have an idea of what the cases were about and why they were decided in the favor of a particular party. So such cases can also, for example, can also assist you. For example, if your own case is similar to a case which had already been decided upon, so you can now understand or know what to, or for example, you can now decide, you can understand what to do during your litigation, or how best to advise your client. So practicing law could be quite hectic and tedious, as I always have to read. Please, there is a mistake here. Have to read. There is a mistake. So correct it. Have to read my law reports in preparation for my cases. So I have to read the reports to prepare myself, for my cases. I handle several civil and criminal cases all year round. So all the cases I handle, I can handle civil cases or criminal cases. Criminal cases are cases that have to do with crime, while civil cases are completely different. Civil cases, ladies and gentlemen, for example, have to do much with contracts. They have to do with what? Relationship between two individuals, while crime is completely different. A crime is, for example, an act which the law has stated that it is a crime, so it automatically becomes a crime because the law states that it is a crime. If you carry out that act, it's a crime, or if you don't carry out that act, it is a crime. So I handle several civil and criminal cases all year round, and I hardly have time for holidays. I go on holidays, but not often. I hardly have time for holidays. My greatest case was a criminal litigation in which my client was accused of burglary. So that was my greatest case. Someone accused the person I was representing, my client, that he broke into a house. A burglar is a thief who breaks into a house with the intention of carrying out a criminal act. Also, he may break into a car. You park your car and someone comes and smashes the window and steals. That's burglary, as well as theft. So, my greatest case was a criminal litigation. Litigation has to do with, the process of taking legal action, in order to secure judgment. So it's called litigation. So my greatest case was a criminal litigation in which my client was accused of burglary. someone said that he committed that crime, when actually he was at that time undergoing a surgical operation for heart attack abroad. Did my client commit the crime? No. Because at that time, he was not in the country. He was out of the country in a hospital because he was ill and was undergoing an operation for heart attack. Okay? So, I had to prove beyond reasonable doubt. I had to prove, okay, in order for everyone to be convinced, to be sure, to be convinced that he had an alibi. He had an alibi. What's an alibi? For example, an alibi is a proof that you were not there when something happened. For example, you are here in Souk Al Arabi and maybe somebody stole a car in Bahrain. So that's enough proof. You said that at that same time you were here in Souk Al Arabi, so you know nothing about the crime. So you were not there at the place or at the scene of the crime. Okay? So, and therefore was not guilty of the crime he was accused of. So my client was not guilty of the crime he was accused of. I love my job. And I can't imagine, I just can't imagine, okay, giving up my job for another career. So I cannot, okay, give up my job for another career. I prefer my job. Okay, we read it again. My profession. I am a barrister at law. I am a barrister at law. And I sometimes work as a solicitor. My profession is very interesting as I have to represent my clients in the court. Practicing law could be quite hectic and tedious as I always have to read my law reports in preparation for my cases. I handle several civil and criminal cases all year round, and I hardly have time for holidays. My greatest case was a criminal litigation in which my client was accused of burglary, when actually he was at that time undergoing a surgical operation for heart attack abroad. I had to prove beyond reasonable doubt that he had an alibi and therefore was not guilty of the crime he was accused of. I love my job and I can't imagine giving up my job for another career. So ladies and gentlemen, you will answer the following questions as part of your homework. Okay? Number one, do you think that the writer enjoys his job? What makes you think so? Number two, is practicing law according to the author easy? Is it easy? Three, in your own words, narrate the writer's greatest case. So in your own words, it means that don't copy from the book. In your own words, use your own vocabulary to narrate the writer's greatest case. So this will be done as your homework and submit it to the teacher who is in charge, okay, of homework for the intermediate level. You can see him at the staff room on the third floor at the adult education unit, ECC staff room, third floor, adult education unit. Okay, you can meet your teacher there. So make sure that you do your homework because they form part of your assessment. Okay? We open to the next page. Vocabulary check. Barrister at law. Barrister at law. Solicitor. Professional. Hectic. Tedious. Civil. Criminal. Litigation. Burglary. Client. Accused. Surgical. Beyond. Alibi. Give up. Advocate. Abroad. Grammar check. Ladies and gentlemen, we will study the past simple tense. Past simple tense. Sorry. It is the present simple tense here. The present simple tense. So the present simple tense is used to express habitual action habitual actions and facts. So the present simple tense is used to express habitual actions and facts. A habitual action, ladies and gentlemen, is an action which you do as a habit. For example, every day I pray. All Muslims pray 5 times a day. It's a habitual action. On holidays, I travel abroad. It's a habitual action. But am I doing that now? Am I traveling abroad now? No. But I do it as a habit. Okay? That every holiday I travel abroad. I wake up at 4 a.m., a habitual action. I go to bed at 10 p.m. It's a habitual action. On Fridays, I visit my friends. It's a habitual action. Okay? Also facts. For example, we check number 1. Ahmed visits his mother on Friday. A habitual action. Then we have a fact. For example, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. This is a fact. Number 2 is a fact. Number 1 is a habitual action. The sun rises in the east and sets in the west. A fact is something which is true and will always be true, or will be true for a long time. Okay? The sun rises in the east because the sun can never rise in the north and it can never rise in the south. It must always rise in the east and will always set in the west. Is a fact. For example, bees give us honey. Bees give us honey. The honey we enjoy, okay, is from the bee. It's not from an elephant, and it's not from a monkey, but from what? From bees, ladies and gentlemen. So it's a fact. fact. So, ladies and gentlemen, grammar check A. The present simple tense is used to express a habitual action, and it is also used to express a fact. Example, I go to the court every day, habitual action. 2, I drink coffee in the evenings, habitual action. 3, on Fridays, I visit my grandfather, habitual action. 4, the sun rises in the east and sets in the west, a fact. So B, adverbs of frequency. Adverbs of frequency, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Adverbs. First of all, what is an adverb? So I will claim it adverb. An adverb modifies a verb an adjective or another adverb. So, ladies and gentlemen, an adverb modifies a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. How? For example, award, 8. Award 8. This is a sentence. But ladies and gentlemen, if I am curious, I want to know, how did award eat? How? Award ate quickly. Award ate quickly. So quickly modifies the verb to eat. So what is quickly? An adverb. And what is this verb? What is this word? It's a verb. Verb to eat. Okay. Award ate quickly. Award ate slowly. Award ate gently. Award ate carefully. So I'm all describing or modifying the verb to eat. So quickly is an adverb. Okay? So an adverb can also modify an adjective. In what way? For example, award is tall. Very tall. Very is an adverb. Tall is an adjective. Very tall describes award, which is a noun. Very, this is called an adverb of degree. Adverbs of degree. For example, absolutely or extremely. Very, okay, so, fairly. These are some examples. He is very tall. He is so happy. He's fairly good. Not so good. Fairly. Okay, so all these are called, there are many more. Okay, in the coming lecture, we will study more of them. So these are called adverbs of degree. Okay, so very is an adverb of degree. So it qualifies or it modifies the adjective tall. So this fits with the description that an adverb modifies a verb, such as in number 1, or an adjective, such as in number 2, or another adverb. Okay, we'll check how that works. Number 3, Howard ate very quickly. So quickly is what? Is an adverb. Very is also an adverb because it is an adverb of degree. Okay? Very quickly. So very qualifies quickly. Very quickly qualifies the verb. Verb to eat. So an adverb qualifies or modifies another adverb. So this is the definition of an adverb. An adverb modifies a verb, an adjective, or another adverb. Okay? Is it clear, ladies and gentlemen? I think I should repeat. An adverb can modify a verb, such as in number 1, Howard ate quickly. So quickly is an adverb because it describes or modifies the verb to eat. And in number 2, Howard is very tall. Very is an adverb, so it's an adverb of degree. Okay, I give you examples. Absolutely, extremely, very, so, fairly. Okay, so very modifies the adjective, which in this case is tall. Number 3, Howard ate quickly. How quickly did he eat? Very quickly. So here, an adverb modifies another adverb. Okay? We go over to the next point. Adverbs of frequency. So we also have adverbs of frequency. Sorry, I'll have to delete the board, okay? To clean the board. I have to clean the board. So I've deleted what I wrote. Okay, I've wiped the board. The next will be adverbs. Adverbs of frequency. We have always, usually, often, sometimes,